They're pretending, Truman. Do you understand? Everybody's pretending.
My life is nothing but a comedy.
Television is not the truth. Television is a goddamn amusement park.
No, this fucking TV is going off.
Stop it!
The news is lying to you.
Deadliest mass shootings.
You gotta thank the Lord, right?
I'm actually an atheist.
Massive disinformation campaign going on.
Yes, everything. We'll tell you any shit you want to hear.
This is extremely
Dangerous.
To our democracy.
Doesn't it seem like everything is getting more polarized? More scary? More extreme? Well, it hasn't always been this way. And it's recent, like the last 10 years, the last 5 especially. And spoiler alert, the human brain, the thing that's taken millions of years to evolve into its current state, has not changed at all in the last 10 years. Something else has, and it's controlling the way you think. So I want to tell you a story today, and it involves cable news's brainwashing of an entire generation and how it did it with one singular actor. A missing child.
Who could take a 6-year-old boy?
To announce a break in the case of Adam Walsh. Listen to this news conference.
Okay, super scary intro. I know, but you're still here because of it, right? That's a foreshadow, baby. Okay, so some setup. Here we go. So before 1971, TV was all sunshine and rainbows. I mean, there were literally like 5 channels: ABC, CBS, NBC, PBS, and a local station. And they adhered to a strict code of conduct. You couldn't use foul language, you couldn't say the word pregnant, you couldn't even show a toilet bowl. But then this show All in the Family comes along, and oh my God, so did the raunch. Every week, this show would obliterate a new taboo. They'd talk about impotence and constipation and molestation until they were the #1 show 5 years in a row. So what do broadcasters do? Well, they're like, let's make 5,000 more of these shows. So you end up with segmented channels like MTV and Playboy and HBO and Lifetime. A new channel for every human desire. And then, in order to compete, we're gonna need a full-blown news channel that broadcasts news 24/7. Ladies and gentlemen, CNN was born. And now the floodgates are open, because if you've got 24/7 news, you need to find something to cover for 24 hours a day. So let's fast forward. It's 1981, Hollywood, Florida, middle of the day. Crowded as a sardine can on a fishing boat. The 6-year-old boy, Adam Walsh, heads out on a shopping trip with his mom. They're going to the department store of all department stores, Sears.
Mommy, I'd like to go play the Atari on display right over there. Okay, Sugar Bun Papa, you go do that, because in 1981, we give kids a lot more agency.
So the two split, and Adam's mom heads a couple aisles over to check out a lamp that was on sale.
Oh ma, that is a divine source of light, and cheap too.
But when she heads back to pick up Adam, he's nowhere in sight.
Excuse me, have you, Miss Shirley, excuse me, sir, hey you, Miss, I'm missing my son, he was right, and now he...
Attention shoppers and guests. Can Adam Walsh please report to customer service?
Nothing.
Where's my son? How could a little boy disappear from a crowded store in the middle of the day?
Yeah, I hear police station right across the street. What the darn diddly do child diddly did this?
Well, I'll tell you who diddly did this. This guy, Otis Toole, a serial killer that confessed to kidnapping, raping, and decapitating 6-year-old Adam Walsh with a machete before depositing his head in a nearby river. I know. Not a happy story. But ask your parents about Adam Walsh, and I bet you they can recount every detail, and that's the basis of today's interlude. Because as TV and CNN came into 24/7-ness, we already learned that broadcasters had to pap that time with something that would arouse our most human desires. And the story of Adam Walsh, a 6-year-old boy kidnapped in a crowded store in broad daylight, only found to be decapitated in a river 2 weeks later, took the country by storm.
Now, more than a quarter century after the 6-year-old disappeared, they're expected to announce a break in the case of Adam Walsh.
Before this news coverage, people legitimately thought that this could never happen to them. But almost overnight, everybody did. Adam's dad, John Walsh, became a crusader for child safety.
Stop for a minute, take a look at it, keep your eyes and ears open, and make that call.
He becomes the host of America's Most Wanted and helps found the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children.
In 1984, we helped create the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children.
Remember those milk cartons at school with missing kids on them? That's this guy. And all of a sudden, when you're having breakfast with sad, missing kids every morning, it really starts to feel like kids are going missing at unprecedented rates, doesn't it?
Search crews will be back out searching for Noel Rodriguez.
Police say they found 6-year-old Paisley Schultes.
They found 3-year-old Camille Cupcake McKinney's body in a dumpster.
Okay, but what's going on here, and why does this kind of story kick the human brain into high gear? Let me show you. So imagine you're a caveman, or woman, come on, equal opportunity here. You're just sitting on your chair, minding your business, when you hear a rustling sound. So what happens? Well, Gurog's gene pool was just killed off, and we're left with the cave woman who, rightfully so, is more cautious, more vigilant, more pessimistic about what might have been in that bush. She was rewarded for running away from the bush, that reward being, well, she's still alive and can have cave babies. And those cave babies are descendants of you and I today. We all have this pessimistic bias toward assuming the worst. Look, zoom into the brain. Deep in the temporal lobes, there's this thing, the amygdala. And when it detects a potential threat, like a tiger in a bush, it goes into high gear. It sends a message to your brainstem, the thing that keeps you alive, and it's like, fight or flight, bitch. Your heart rate increases, your vision narrows to take in more information, your body floods with adrenaline, your muscles tense to prepare for impact, all to get ready for... Oh, it's just another episode of Last of Us. This is the problem. We all have this ancient fight or flight pessimistic bias towards assuming the worst. If you didn't assume there was a tiger in the bush, you died a bloody death like Gurog. It's this mechanism that's kept us alive for millions of years. But it's also the mechanism that's had a lot of trouble keeping up with gory TV shows and fear-based news cycles. This ancient fight or flight device loves to think about what could be lurking in the bush. And it can't tell the difference between a tiger in a bush and an episode of CSI Miami, or Law & Order, or American Horror Story. Or that sexy Anderson Cooper who comes on 60 Minutes with those sweet, sweet blue eyes. He turns to the nation and he addresses them by saying, "It's every parent's worst nightmare." But what he forgets to start with. First off, remember what I'm about to tell you will probably never, ever, ever, ever happen to you. In fact, it's almost exploitative that I'm even here talking about it. Because it wouldn't keep you watching the news. This is basic human psychology. So let me give you one of the few things that can sometimes maybe trump our most caveman desires. Statistics. The National Center for Missing and Exploited Children shows that the number of kids kidnapped by strangers is about 1 in 1.5 million. Well, shoot! I'd hate to be that one. Caveman brain off. And what does that even mean? Well, let's invert it, Henry. If you actually wanted your child to be kidnapped and held overnight by a stranger, how long would you have to leave them outside, unattended, in a Sears parking lot for this to be statistically likely to happen? Any guesses? $750,000 years. These fears bear no relation to reality today. The world is cleaner, safer, and more prosperous across the board than it has ever been at any time in history. There has never been a safer time for kids to ride the New York subway alone, or roam until dark, or play a video game in a department store. Do we still have those? I don't think we still have those. Even if it doesn't feel like it. Because we're all still living with the aftermath of the perfect timing consequences that were 24/7 news and the tragic kidnapping and killing of Adam Walsh. Plus our caveman brains.